Right now, as you watch this video, your money is disappearing, not stolen, not spent, just vanishing. In the last 18 months, 40% of all US dollars that have ever existed were created out of thin air, which means the money in your bank account. It's worth 40% less than it was 18 months ago. But here's the question nobody's asking. If money can just be printed endlessly, what is money actually worth? This is Secret Ledger, where illusions meet reality. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's policy. The US Federal Reserve created more money in 18 months than in the previous 200 years of American history combined. But to understand why that's terrifying, you need to understand what money actually is. And the answer might shock you. Money is an illusion. It always has been, but that doesn't make it any less powerful, because every empire in history that forgot this truth collapsed. To understand why, we need to go back to before money existed at all. Before money, there was the barter system. You had tomatoes, I had shoes, we trade. Simple, right? Wrong. Imagine you're a tent maker. You need shoes. But the shoemaker doesn't need a tent. He needs vegetables. And the vegetable farmer doesn't need shoes. He needs tools. This is called the double coincidence of wants. Both people need to want exactly what the other has at exactly the same time. The odds? Terrible. But it gets worse. Let's say you're that vegetable farmer. Your tomatoes are worth something, but only for 2 weeks before they rot. The tent maker, his tents last year's. He can store his wealth forever. Same effort, same work, but one gets rich, one stays poor. Not because of skill, because of the nature of what they produce. The system was broken, and humanity knew it. So around 770 BC, something revolutionary happened. China created the first metal coins. Finally, a solution. Something scarce, something valuable, something that didn't rot. Bronze coins you couldn't just pick up on a beach. Money was born. But here's what nobody expected. Money would become the greatest illusion in human history. At first, money wasn't an illusion. A gold coin was worth exactly 1 gold coin's worth of gold. You could weigh it, measure it, verify it. The value was real. But then kings discovered something. The more coins you have, the more power you control. In 600 BC, King Aliates of Lydia created the first official mint. He stamped images on coins to show their value. Brilliant innovation, right? Wrong, because once the image determined the value, kings started cheating. They made coins thinner, mixed gold with cheap metals. A coin stamped 1 gold contained only 0.5 gold, but people accepted it at face value. And just like that, the illusion was born. The value of money was no longer what it was made of. It was what the king said it was. Fast forward to international trade. Metal coins too heavy to carry across oceans. Solution: paper certificates. This paper is worth 10 gold coins. Trust us, the king. And people did trust them at first. But here's where it gets interesting. As more paper flooded the market, people stopped exchanging paper for gold. They just traded the paper. The paper became the money, even though it was worth nothing on its own. From ancient kings to modern governments, money has remained an illusion, and the people in power have never forgotten how to manipulate it. Today, we call this system fiat currency. Fiat, a Latin word meaning let it be done, a decree from the government that says this paper is worth $100 because we say so. The most valuable banknote in circulation, the Singapore $10,000 note. It costs 20 cents to produce, but it's worth 7,345 US dollars, the same amount as 120 grams of gold. 20 cents of paper equals 120 grams of gold because the government says so. Now here's where this becomes your problem. 2020 changed everything. Economy shut down. Goods and services stopped flowing, but people still needed money to survive. So the US government did what kings have done for thousands of years. They created money out of thin air. 40% of all US dollars in existence were printed in just 18 months. Let that sink in. 40% of all dollars ever in 18 months. But the economy didn't grow by 40%. The amount of goods and services didn't increase by 40%. Just the money supply. So what happens? Inflation, your $1,000 in the bank, still says $1,000, but it can now buy what $600 could buy 18 months ago. You didn't spend it. Nobody stole it. The government just printed new money and yours became worth less. But it's worse than that, because the government doesn't just print money and hand it out. There's a system, a sneaky system. It's called the Federal Reserve. Here's how it works. The government needs money. Let's say $1 trillion. They can't just print it directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they issue bonds, basically IOUs. Give us $1 trillion now. We'll pay you back later with 1.23% interest. Banks and countries buy these bonds. The government spends that money, but when it's time to pay back, the government has no money. So the Federal Reserve steps in. They buy the bonds back from the banks with new money created out of thin air. Since March 2020, the Fed has bought back over $1 trillion in bonds, and they're not stopping. This new money goes to the banks. The banks lend it to businesses and people. More money enters the economy. But here's the trick. Every new dollar created steals value from every old dollar. The number in your bank account stays the same, but what it can buy decreases every single day. You're being robbed slowly, silently, not by criminals, by the system itself. And here's the most disturbing part. This is by design. The government targets 2% inflation per year, meaning they intend for your money to lose 2% of its value annually. That's not a bug, it's a feature. Your $10,000 in savings, in 10 years, it buys what $8,171 buys today. Even if you never touch it, the system is designed to make savers losers. You can already see this happening. Lumber prices tripled in 1 year. That guac at Chipotle, 20 cents more expensive. Small increases, but they add up, and they never go back down. But here's what the stock market doesn't want you to see. The Dow Jones is at all-time highs, right? Economy must be booming, except it's an illusion. If you measure the Dow Jones in gold instead of dollars, we're at the same level as 1997. No growth, just inflation. The number goes up, but the value stays flat, smoke and mirrors. So what's the end game? With unlimited money printing, does this just continue forever? Does the gap between rich and poor keep growing? Does your savings account keep losing value until there's nothing left? The answer is empires don't last forever. Every currency in history that followed this path eventually collapsed. The Roman denarius, the German mark, the Zimbabwean dollar all followed the same pattern. Print money, inflate currency, lose trust, collapse. The question isn't if, it's when, and what you do before then determines whether you survive it or get destroyed by it. So what do you do? Here's the brutal truth. You can't stop inflation. You can't stop money printing, but you can protect yourself. The game is simple. Assets appreciate faster than currency depreciates. Real estate, stocks, commodities, anything real. Because as dollars lose value, the dollar price of real assets goes up. It's not that your house is worth more. It's that dollars are worth less. Holding cash is losing. Holding assets is surviving. The wealthy understand this. That's why the gap keeps growing. They own assets. You own dollars. They profit from inflation. You suffer from it. But now you understand the game. Money is an illusion. It always has been. The only difference? Now you know the secret that empires have hidden for thousands of years. Your money is disappearing. Every second, every day. The question is, what are you going to do about it? This is Secret Ledger. If this changed how you see money, hit subscribe, because the game doesn't end, and we'll show you how to play it.